All right, Viva, happy 2022. Colin, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling okay. Viva, it's good to see you. Happy New Year. You have a good festive.
Yep. Good festive season. Looking forward to this year as well.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's a lot of hope. And obviously now that people are just over the whole COVID thing and things are opening up completely now, I think we're all very, very positive as to what's going to happen for 2022.
Let's end off with, let's start off with Ismail Kadri, because that was the last thing that happened last year where he won his fight quite emphatically. What did you think of him?
Yeah, I think he's one for the future. Dynamic kid, big ticket seller in Cape Town. You were there, you were also very impressed. I think the world's his oyster. I think he's going to be a star in Cape Town boxing. I really, really do. And that's obviously where we want to develop him. And eventually, obviously, bring him to the City of Gold.
Eventually to the City of Gold. All right. And then talking about another prospect, ESPN Africa have launched, and one of your boxers features on the first tournament, Katlego Kanyisa. He's 1-0, exciting lightweight. Tell us a little bit more about him.
Yeah, two-time SA amateur champ, great pedigree as an amateur. Doing very, very well. Obviously, he's one of those kids who developed during COVID within the gym. And I just think he's going to be a star. I really, really think he's going to be a star. Good-looking kid, speaks well, good combinations, moves incredibly well as well. And I think he's going to be also, he's one of the kids that I think should be earmarked for South African boxing as well as Ismail Kadri.
I don't think many people enjoy training over the festive season, but he's one of the kids that did. He gave his festive season up just to train for January 27. Does that speak to his character as well?
Yeah, and he went down to Cape Town for a few days and he was running with his teammate Ismail Kadri, which was great. You saw the stuff on social media. So very disciplined and dedicated, and I think he's going to be a star.
All right, and then big news coming up. Actually, there's a couple of big news, but let's start off with Azinger Fuslie, who you released after he went up to the lightweight division, and there was a whole lot of other problems, I'm assuming, as well.
Well, I mean, the other problems you're obviously referring to his trainer. We don't get on, and I was just, gatful. I was just gatful. I got to the point where it's January, it's a new year, do I really need this toxic shit in my life? And I thought, fuck that shit, man. So I just moved to lightweight. I just don't think he's a big junior lightweight. I've said it in other interviews as well. I think the cracks of life are showing. I think he needs to be more disciplined between fights. And if that was the case, or is the case, I don't think he needs to move up. I don't think he's strong enough and big enough to be a good lightweight. I still think he's a world-class junior light, and I still think he can be champion of the world, but I don't think at lightweight.
I think initially when he was a featherweight, there was a shock that he moved up to super featherweights, and now he's moving up to lightweight. Which weight is his best weight?
Yeah, I mean, look, if you had to squeeze down to feather, I mean, could he do it? It'd be tough, but I just don't think he should be walking around and fighting at 135 as a lightweight. I mean, look at the champions. Lomachenko, Kambosos, Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Davis, I still believe can make 135. So those are big guys and strong punches. And I just think with a little bit more dedication and discipline, I think he can be 130, no problem, as a junior lightweight.
So without you as his manager, I mean, what do you think will happen from this point for his career?
I don't know. It's not my problem anymore, unfortunately or fortunately. I just don't need the headache. The question is, well, would I be saying this had he won the championship? Well, obviously not. But also, having said that, had he won, would he be moving up to lightweight? Obviously not. So those are questions I'm sure people are going to point fingers at me and say, but the reality is, again, this is my career. I want to help South African boxing. I just felt that I was, swimming against a tide. And I thought the ultimate goal was for South African boxing and for him to become world champion. And I just obviously couldn't work with his trainer anymore. So it's quite simple. And actually, before the fight, I approached a mutual party and I asked that party if, there's a possibility we could actually work together. And Mzama would have nothing of it. So I did try. And now the move to lightweight, which, he didn't even inform Rumble Africa Promotions. So they're on their own now. And I wish them all the best. I really, really do. I have no ill feeling, no hard feeling. But just all the best to them.
All right, and then I'll switch the subject because I think we covered that one. Big news, literally the same day. Stephen Nontshinga joins the Hotbox stable. What was your thoughts in bringing him on?
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's a very talented kid, and this was a bit of a surprise move from their camp because when I was in East London for Dlamini's fight, Lorota's fights, I was called to a meeting by Gopeni, Mr. Gopeni, best as he's known, Sivia's father, and he looked at me and he said to me, look, I want to bring my son to you. I want my son to join you. And I was like, okay. And then we had a second meeting with Best and the gym manager, Sianda, big shout out to them. And then obviously we had the third meeting with Sivanati there. So I was a bit gobsmacked and obviously humbled because, they have a choice. And Sivanati and I've always gotten, and he actually reminded me of a message he sent to me in inbox on Facebook Messenger or years ago when he was still amateur and wanting to know if I train amateurs. And I said, no. And here we are now. And the number one 108-pound IBF junior flyweight in the world getting ready to fight Felix Alvarado. And he's joined us. So very flattered, very humbled, and just a great family. Best's a good guy, humble, not arrogant, and Sivanati's just a wonderful, beautiful kid. So I'm looking forward to that working and fruitful relationship.
It's not an easy start. We saw DJ Creel take on Felix Alvarado in a very tough, quite a hard fight to watch. What is your thoughts on Siva going into this fight?
Yeah, listen, Alvarado's one of the more seasoned, good champions out there. It's a tough fight, but there's a way to beat everyone. And it's our job now to sit and formulate their game plan on how to beat Felix Alvarado. Funny enough, DJ actually contacted me and he gave me some really good tips on what he thought would be the right plan to nullify Alvarado's attack. But I think first things, let's just get Sivanati settled and then obviously start working on the game plan. But it's a tough fight, but it's a fight that I believe that Sivanati can win. Sivanati's also got really one-punch concussive power. And I think with that in mind and the right plan, I think we can win and become champion of the world.
All right, and I'm not wondering if the decision to join you was based on your success previously with the smaller fighters, i.e. world champions Heki Butler, Simpiwe Konko, DJ Creel, Maurizio Mtalane. I mean, that's a long list of small world champions. Well, not smaller weight world champions, I should rather say. Do you think that was a factor?
I think it's also based on experience and me performing at that level. And I think obviously Best had a hard think about it and just came up with a solution that, look, Colin's the best man for the job. Let me rope him in, and here we are. I think I'm the right guy for the job.
All right, and then, as I said, a tough assignment first up, but I mean, you formulate a game plan, you can win. The other thing is the other boxes right now. What is the look of some of the other boxes going on? I know they're still proposed fight dates, but anything you can say?
Yeah, obviously I want to get Loroto Dlamini into that position to fight for a world championship. I'm going to be working really hard. Heki Butler as well, I believe, has another run, a legitimate run at winning a world championship, either the BC or the BO. So I'm going to be working on that. Some other things in the pipeline that I'm working on, some pitches and proposals. That's busy happening this afternoon, in fact. Got a couple of meetings lined up as well, but with regards to the fights ahead of Volmans, I want to get her moving too. And Anthony Krobler, I want to bring him back. There's a whole bunch of young fighters in the gym that I want to focus on as well, bringing them through. And I think with ESPN Africa, with this platform, I think that's a great avenue to bring these athletes through. And don't forget Cape Town as well with Ishmael Qadri, Dula as well. I want Dula Knut. Unfortunately, his mom passed away. I just want to send my condolences to him and the family. I believe he can become South African featherweight champion. We just need to get him back into contention. And I just think there's a good buzz in the gym. There's some great talent in the gym. And very excited about 2022.
Do you want the revenge for the Asunda fights? Do you want him, or does it all that matters the belt?
Listen, I thought we won the fight. It's my opinion. People can disagree. It's their prerogative. I just want him to become champion. Become a champion. Put a belt around his waist. I'll be happy with that.
So realistically for you, by the end of the year, is there a couple of world champions in your sights?
Definitely. I mean, that's what I'm in the game for. Changing lives with positive vibes. And just obviously making my mark in South African boxing. I want to keep it going and flowing. And create the spotlight on South African boxing. We have such amazing talent. I keep telling you, and I keep saying it in my interviews, we have an amazing ability to produce good fighters. They just need opportunities. Ronald Melindy's now number 15 in the IBF, so that's also a big thing for him. Just excited about the future, and I just want to keep South African boxing smiling and shining.
Well, actually, I want to ask you a question regarding South African boxing that's not in your camp. Thabiso Mchunu takes on Ilunga Makabu. It's a good fight, I mean, for Africa.
Isn't it crazy? It's almost like the Gonya Teti fight, that two South Africans or two Africans are fighting in America for world title. It just doesn't make sense, does it? I think it's great. I think it's a fight that Thabiso can win. It's really, really close. It's, again, you know, who's the fresh of the two? And obviously it's going to be a big win for South African boxing if Mchunu wins. But equally, if Makabu wins, it's still putting the spotlight on African boxing. Just a great fight. I'm just really upset and bummed that it can't be in South Africa.
Yeah, that would have been a great spectacle as well. And it's sort of the race to Canelo, is that right?
Listen, I think, you know, Joe Smith defending his WBO 175 title, that's also an option. Look, I think Canelo beats both guys. I'm not going to bullshit you and sit here and say, oh, we've got a chance and blah, blah, blah. You know, it's obviously for Canelo to become another division champion. But I really would love to see Canelo clean up the 175 division. Particularly Archie Beterbiev. That's a tough, good fight. But that's a fight that, you know, that the fans want. Joe Smith probably loses against Canelo, but it's also a good fight. I'd like Canelo, and I mean, I know Sean and Damien are going to hate me for this, but I'd love him to move up to light heavy first, clean up that division, and then move to cruiser and fight the champion. But again, it's not about what I want. I'm just talking about from a fan's perspective. I just think Canelo has to be pound for pound number one right now. So whoever he fights is going to generate interest.
Right. And, you know, lastly, do you have anything?
Not forgetting Ayano Nakasi, great lightweight, strong, hits hard. He's been inactive, and obviously I want to get him back into the ring and get him active again. And I think the world of his ability. I think he's a really, really good fighter for South African boxing too. And of course, we also got to bring back Conco. That's also very important for me this year. And don't forget my two baby boys, my two brothers, the Tutor boys, Colin and Tristan. They're going to be also obviously making the mark this year. And particularly Caden, he's been off for a while, young prospect, I think the world of his ability. Need to bring him in and get his career moving, and I'm just looking forward to a great year.